2 years ago, Taylor and I started converting our own Sprinter van, turning it into our tiny home on wheels. Then we took it all across North America, up to Quebec, Canada, down to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and everywhere in between. Throughout our adventures, we did run into a few hiccups in our DIY van. We're stuck on the side of the road. We need to get our tires upgraded because we couldn't make it up this hill. And with the craze of van life quickly becoming a very popular and expensive thing, we've always wondered what it would be like doing van life in a professional build with the hope that your hiccups are going to be limited. We just had the error code of H1 fuel pump. Our fuel line is frozen. It is officially too cold for van life. So when Storyteller Overlander reached out to us to test out their brand new van, we couldn't say no and we were super excited. So for the next 10 days, we're taking this van all across the state of Oregon, exploring every nook and cranny of the state. Before we go exploring, we want to show you what a $170,000 van has to offer and compare it to some of the differences it has with our self-converted Sprinter van that only costs us about $52,000.
Welcome to our home for the next 10 days. This is a 2021 4x4 144-inch wheelbase, which differs from ours because ours is a 170-inch wheelbase 2015 two-wheel drive. Come on in. In our true van tour fashion, we are gonna go and start from the front of the van and work our way back. One of the coolest parts of this van, in our opinion, is the dash. Our dash in our 2015 Sprinter van is pretty basic, and this one has all the bells and whistles. This is probably standard for any new Sprinter van, and when you're buying a professional build, you're likely going to get a new Sprinter van or one that was manufactured very recently. So this is probably standard and all, but for us, this is a huge upgrade. This van even has Apple CarPlay, which is awesome when you're on new roads and you don't know exactly where you're going. And if you need it, there's plenty of electrical outlets for all of your phones, GoPros, all kinds of gadgets. If you notice right now, I am standing straight up. So one way our van differs from this build is that we installed an overhead bin right here because this is optimal storage space. However, in this van, they just use it as part of the main cab, which makes it super spacious up in here, but also takes away from your storage options. As we make our way back from the front of the van, this is where the build changes entirely from our own personal build. This van comes complete with a second seat in the back for 2 passengers. It even has seatbelts to make sure that this is legally a second seat, or technically a third seat, for the van. And this area actually serves as the dinette. It has 2 swivel seats instead of our van, which only has 1 as the passenger seat, and it has an easy to install lagoon table right here so that 4 people can sit comfortably at the table. I bet you're wondering where the table is when we drive. It actually is easily stowed right here behind the seat so that it's easy to access and take out whenever you want to use it. This table is much smaller than ours, however, it is so much lighter, so actually putting it on the lagoon swivel, super easy.
This is really nice because I could sit here, she could sit there, and we can have kind of like dinner without disrupting our bed.
That is a major bonus for those days where you just don't feel like doing the extra work.
The bed can be made ready for sleeping, and you can have dinner in a separate area. That's nice.
Yeah. Though the setup is for 4, it might be tricky for that 4th person to use the table though. It's probably going to be a far reach. Not only does this seat work as a 3rd seat for passengers and it completes the awesome dinette area, but it also acts as a second bed. Let me show you. It is pretty easy to create this bed. You just use the hinges on the side to push down the cushions, and voila, you have a bed.
It's actually a pretty decent size.
Well, that was easy. I bet you guys are wondering where the bathroom and the shower is. Don't worry, it is right in here. This is a little different from our own build where you have to kind of find it, but you still have it. This has a Dometic portable toilet, and the shower pan is right underneath because the shower actually comes from this area right up here. Oops. This is the first time I'm testing it out, so hopefully I get it right.
Oh.
Shower curtain. Oh, wow, it's just on like some hinges.
Oh, that's nice.
When you do shower in here, you would just take everything out, get in the shower. There are controls for the shower up in this closet, and this comes right out like so. Could you get my towel? It's actually pretty spacious in here. We will be testing this out, but that is another day and another vlog, so if you want to see that, check it out. How easy is it to put back away? That's the question. And it's pretty easy. Moving right along, we have the bed area. Since this is a 144, there's not a lot of space. So in this van, you actually have to sleep side to side. There's 2 flares on the side that make it perfect for anyone who's about 6'1". If you're taller than that, this might become kind of tight.
I'm 6'1", and I'm basically head to toe on the flares. I can extend straight out, but I can't put my feet down. I can't point my toes.
I'm only 5'4", and I fit perfectly. However, it does get a little dicey. Ouch. Ouch. All right, moving right along. This area is where you have all of your storage options. So there are 4, somebody's probably gonna fall out. 4 storage options back here. Oh, told you. Hers, his, we're using as food, and window covers.
Storyteller provides window covers for every single window, which is great if you're trying to block out the sun or at night when you're trying to have a little bit of fun.
This is how we do it.
What the heck is going on in here?
This place is a mess. These are great for van life because at night when you want to be stealth and sleep and you don't want people to be looking in your windows, you just put these right up and you're good to go. They're magnetic, so it makes it super easy to put them up and super easy to take them down. In order for these to stay closed while you drive, it does have this nice feature, which is a button. You just pop it in and out when you want to open it. This locks it completely so that you can't open it. And when you do this, it becomes a knob so that you can. Lots of things in there. Also, one huge selling point that our van doesn't have is this. We have a max air fan over our bed, which we absolutely love because when we have both windows open, it creates an awesome cross breeze and we're never really that hot. However, this van has air conditioning, which I think is a necessity for those really hot, humid climates like Central America. Moving right along, welcome to my kitchen. In this build, there is a microwave. We do not have a microwave in our van, but this makes it super convenient when you're on the road and you just want a quick warm meal. In our build, we really tried to make our kitchen feel like a home. So we have a fixed stovetop with a nice sink with a big faucet like you would get in a standard home. This one, however, has a little adventure kitchen. So it has your standard RV sink, which is great because when you put the lid down, you have extra counter space or prep space. The refrigerator in this van is actually found on the side, which is quite big and spacious. It is by Isotherm, ours is by Dometic, but I think both have their pros. I think ours is a little bit bigger, but this feels like a better use of space. One bonus of having the refrigerator over here is that it's not actually going to get in the way of your walking space. Since this van doesn't have a fixed stovetop, it does come with a 1-burner induction stovetop right here in the first drawer. You just pull it out when you want to use it and plug it in. And then when you're done with it, you can just easily stow it away, and now you have that much more space for other things. It does also have 3 drawers where you can keep your kitchen supplies, your cleaning supplies, and more cleaning supplies and a trash can. Last but not least for the kitchen, on those nice sunny days when you want to eat outside, it also comes with a magnetic outdoor table. When we were building our van, we thought about building one of these. However, just think we never got around to it. But this would be awesome to have for when you want to eat outside. And like our van, they also used this space as a little cubby for whatever you want. Shoes, bags, Kevin.
Now time for the technical cool features of the van, which I am most interested in. So there's 2 monitors. The big screen is your command center, which basically allows you to control everything. So this van has a 12 kilowatt hour system, which is a huge battery bank, and there's a 90 watt panel on the roof, which isn't really enough to supply enough energy to the batteries as you're utilizing the system, which is why it's also connected to the alternator. And this van, I believe, comes with like a high rated powerful alternator, which when you're driving charges up your batteries, and if you're driving consistently, you're never going to run out of power. I just did the math to see how many amp hours is 12 kilowatt hours, and it turns out that it's 1,000 amp hours, which is a huge battery bank. Our van only has 300 amp hours. The reason why we're able to sustain our power is because we have more solar on the roof. But if you're driving consistently with this van, you are literally never going to run out of power, and which is why you can run your AC pretty much whenever you want. Back to the module though, here is everything that you need, which is really, really nice, and it looks like it's proprietary with Storyteller because they have their logo all over this thing. The command center basically has everything that you need. You have your gauges for your freshwater tank, your gray tank, your interior temperature, your target temperature, so if you want to heat the van or cool it off with the AC, you could set a target. On the right, you have your AC on and off, your vent for your max air fan, your AC or your heat. Over here, you also have access to your water pump, which you could turn on right there. And if you want hot water, you can turn that on with a flip of the switch, which uses the diesel heater to create that. There's also 2 other main features here, which goes with your climate. So you can control the fan speed, make it economy or comfort, and then lighting, which allows you to control every single light in this van from this one command center. There's also lighting switches throughout the van itself, but if you want to just do everything here, you can. So I'm going to hit on the master light switch, and it just turned on every single light in this van, which is pretty sweet. You can also control the dimming power with this. Really, really bright or low. Throughout the van, there are 6 puck lights, and ours in the van goes straight down the middle, which provides enough light, but when you're cooking, it creates shadows. So I really like how they separated the lights out on both sides. 2 on the side, 1 here, 1 here, and then 2 back there to make sure everything is well lit. There's also under the cabinet lights, which we do not have in our van, and we really wish we did. And it's cool because you can turn them off by just pushing them in or out to turn them on and off. So if you wanted to read at night, if you're sleeping, I guess we sleep on this side, you could just turn your light on and off if you wanted to do that.
Another nice thing about this van is that if you are ready to get back on the road and forgot to turn off all the lights, there is this master kill switch for the light power right here on the dash, which allows you to turn off the lights without ever leaving the captain's chair.
This is the battery monitor for the power pack in the back, which basically tells you how many hours of power you have remaining, whether you're a positive or negative flow in terms of energy, and the temperature gauge for your battery pack. You don't want that area to get too hot or too cold, so it's nice to see the temperature of your battery pack so you can monitor it at all times. In addition to the air conditioner to make this cool, it also has a diesel heater to make it hot. One thing that I love about this heating system is that there are 2 exhaust vents, and it uses a diesel heater just like ours, but it works fabulous. We slept last night and we were toasty warm high in the mountains where it was down to like 40 degrees last night. There's 1 duct vent right here for the front of the cabin, and then there's another duct vent all the way in the back, which lets the entire van get warm, which is a mistake that we made when we were building ours because our heater is only up front underneath the front passenger seat. And it's really difficult for the back of the van to get hot because the heat energy is completely isolated from our battery and water components. Like I said, there's also light switches and controls in other areas other than the command center, which is nice because if you're all the way here, you have to go up all the way to the front every single time. That would get a little annoying. So there's a switch for the water pump, there's a switch for the hot water, sink drain, and a light for your cargo if you wanted to see what's going on in the garage. And in terms of outlet and electrical power, there are so many outlets throughout the van. I believe there's 6 USB outlets, 3 12 volt, and 3 120 volts. So plenty of places to find power and plug in and charge up any electrical component that you need. Actually, there's 5. One here, and there's one in the back as well. So 5 120 volt outlets.
One of my favorite parts of this van, which is not on our van, is that it has an electrical awning that comes out right from the side door, so you can sit outside and not have to worry about the sun. How cool is that? And at night, if it's dark out, you can even use the lights. Another cool feature about this awning is that if you don't want to put it all the way out and you want some sun, you can only expand it partially, which is really, really cool.
We found another outlet right here. 6. As we move to the back of the van, it comes with a complete utility rack where you can put accessories like extra diesel tank, extra fresh water tanks. I'm sure you could add a lot more stuff. I'm not too familiar with this because we do not have this on our van, and I'm just not too knowledgeable about it. But these are super, super sturdy. I'm sure it would help you in an accident as well. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that. And you got a heavy duty tow hitch, which will allow you to tow whatever you need. Before I forget, there's also a backup camera like ours. I'm assuming this one came with the van. We were driving in reverse, and this van has 360 cameras all over the place, which is really nice when you're trying to park. I wish we had that on ours. Opening the garage. Storyteller is big on the mountain biking game, which is why there's plenty of room to fit at least two mountain bikes with the high clearance, so you have nothing to worry about, or for any other toys that you want to fit in this huge area. On the right side of the garage houses all of the electrical battery components with the 3200 watt inverter, your 1000 amp hour or 12 kilowatt hour battery bank. You have your fuse panel right here if you need to get into there and play around with your electrics, which I'm assuming you won't because this is a professional build out and the electricals should be pretty much set in stone. You have a light switch for your cargo lights if you need it, another 12 volt, a valve to your inverter if you need to gain access to it, and that 12 volt outlet that I've been mentioning. On the left side, this is where the freshwater tank is, which is 21 gallons, and then there's a 24-gallon gray tank underneath the van. But here is the control center for all your water components. So you have the ability to fill the freshwater tank via a siphon. You can fill it via city water as well, and you control that here. So you would just flip the switch to open up the city water valve, or switch it back to use the freshwater tank. You have your water pump back here. You have hookups for an outdoor shower, which is nice. You have the hose right here. Open this up, put it in there, turn on your water pump, and you are ready to go. And then you also have access to your water pump if you have any troubles with that you need to make any modifications or fix anything with the water pump. Here is the secondary duct vent for your heating, which is what I was talking about earlier, that allows full circulation of hot air throughout the van when you need to warm up the van itself. If for whatever reason the high clearance garage is not big enough for you, you can lift the bed component up and make it even higher, which is pretty easy to do. You just take out this cushion and then lift this guy up, clip it right to here, and you're good to go. We won't be using that at all, so we're gonna keep it in bed mode because that's what we plan to do hitting this area, because we have no crazy toys for this trip.
Another nice feature for us short people is that this back part actually has a nice step that you can get on to get up here.
So on this side of the van is basically where you have all of your exterior components for charging and filling up your water, which is really nice because we don't have a water fill spout on the outside. So if it's raining and we need water, we need our doors to be open and potentially get everything wet, which isn't cool. So here is the city water fill spout. This is what the exterior flare looks like, and it kind of sticks out pretty good. So when I was driving, it kind of gets in the way of your rear view, so you might need to adjust your mirror just a little bit more, but it's definitely worth the additional space and critical must-have for a 144 in my opinion. You might recognize this from our van build. This is the Luminous Ladder that we have installed as well. This might be a newer model, or I'm not sure if Storyteller does this on their own, but they install a little bit of grip tape right here, which is really smart because when it's snowing and cold out, my feet would be slipping all the time when I'm getting on the roof to brush the snow off our solar panels. So I really like this idea of installing the grip tape. And this is probably something super easy to do for your own van if you have a ladder, because grip tape is pretty cheap. Here is your smart plug. So this is where you charge your inverter if you need to. Again, we're going to be driving, so we are going to be charging with the alternator and the solar panel. We will probably never need to use this, and just like we don't need to use it on our own van at home, but it is nice to have if you're in a pinch and you're not driving and it's been really cloudy for a week straight and you need to charge up. Now this one is new to me. I've never seen this on any van. I never even thought about it, but basically this is the M Power Station by Storyteller that allows you to charge another van. So if you're caravanning with someone else and their solar panels screw up, they break and they need power, they're running out, you can actually charge them. This is basically a 30 amp outlet for someone else, so they can tie in here, charge their battery setup, or at least give them some juice so you guys can both carry on and get to wherever you need with some power. So I thought that was pretty cool. Not sure how much it will be utilized, but when you do need it, it'll sure will be nice to have. Since it's a 4-wheel drive van, it is higher than the 2-wheel drives due to the suspension upgrade and the off-roading capabilities. So it comes with a step-up bar or a running board on both sides, and it has the step-up in the back that Taylor showed you. And with the Storyteller vans, you get the alloy wheels and all-terrain tires with KO2 BF Goodrich, which is what we have in the van, and we absolutely love them. If you're looking to get good all-terrain tires on the van, you will not go wrong with the KO2s. Last but not least, we're gonna jump to the roof, and that will be wrapping up the van tour of the Storyteller Stealth Mobile. Forgot to mention, Storyteller has 4 vans on their market right now. This is the Stealth version of the Mode 4x4, which at the current time of this video, it is the second best van within the Storyteller portfolio. But let's go up.
Ooh, these grips are nice. Last but not least, there are 2 front runner racks up here on the roof, which is perfect for more solar panels, tying any additional stuff you have down, or even a good spot to watch the sunset.
If you're new here, then make sure you check out our van tour of our own self-converted Sprinter van that we built ourselves, and let us know which van you would rather have, the professional van build or the DIY, because we are super interested. And to Storyteller, thank you so much for letting us test out this van. We are super excited to explore the state of Oregon for the next 10 days in this beauty. It is really, really nice.